And in Berbice alone, for this year, there have been 77 attempts and 11 successful or more than 11 successful suicides. And that's just in Region 6. And
And
so,
excuse me,
sorry.
those are only cases that have been reported. What about those that are
Thank
not
you.
reported?
Well, that is the dark gray area we call it.
I guess 90% or more are not reported. We
Yes,
don't ever hear about them.
because in most cases, rape is such a heinous crime that the victim goes into silence. But I have here a very important brochure with me, because the person who rapes you never puts on a condom.
No.
So in this brochure, it teaches you what to do, a guide for sexual assault victims, and it talks about PEP, because no longer can we just say the rape is just the rape. What if that person is infected with a sexually transmitted infections that can also impact you for the rest of your life, apart from the violent trauma that you're going to suffer?
Quite true.
We have HIV
Stick
being
pin,
a phenomenon.
What is PEP? Just for the
PEP
benefit of our viewers.
PEP is the acronym for post-exposure prophylaxis.
Right, okay.
And it's a treatment regimen that you go on if you may have been exposed to HIV by accident or by rape. If you agree to take the PEP, you have to share information about yourself. Of course, you have to tell us what
Quite true.
happened. See a physician, get blood tests, take medication for 4 weeks, and get counseling. The entire process will take up to like 6 months. Now, this is a very critical part. Within 7 to 2 hours of the rape, you must get on these medications. But it is better to start within 2 hours.
Within 2 hours.
A lot of persons don't know that, but the Campbellville Health Center where I work at, that's a PEP site.
You know, I was coming to that. I'm pretty sure most of our people out there don't know that.
Well, the Campbellville Health Center where I work at is a PEP site, but for further information, you can contact the National AIDS Program Secretariat, and they can guide you to the rest of PEP sites that is across the country. I can talk for the site where I work, and we do excellent work. And so persons who are raped, even if they don't want to go and report it to the police, because some people are so ashamed to go and tell the police, you can come in to get your medication. All you have to say to us what has happened. We're not going to, your information will be kept private and confidential, but you are going to get your medical checkup. You're going to get your health looked after. And that's the major thrust of the clinic that I work in. We're there to provide healthcare service.
You know, Ms. Cole, I'm so happy that you're here because the type of information and quality of information you're sharing here, I myself, weren't aware of.
I'm happy to be a light.
You're watching Grow with IPED, and here I'm chatting with Miss Nicole Cole, and she is a social worker attached to the Campbellville Health Center, and we're talking here about the whole issue of sexual violence. Miss Cole, if I'm a victim, you just touched on one issue there. Yeah. If I'm a victim, what do I do and where do I go for help?
Well, again, what should you do if you're raped?
Right.
Same brochure.
Same brochure.
Printed by the National AIDS Program Secretariat. Report the case to the police immediately and visit the hospital as soon as possible. Now, an important aspect, our hospitals need to be stocked with rape kits. We cannot collect critical empirical evidence if we do not have the rape kits.
Quite true.
So the other part is that the victim, when they go for the service, it must be there. The kits must be available, so that the doctors can do the right thing. And then there is the process of chain of command and all that nitty-gritty that goes into getting a conviction for rape. Rape is not something that you get a conviction for easily. And so we want to work out all the encumbrances and the obstacles so that we can have our forensic lab functioning.
Quite true.
Because we have a brand new forensic lab, and we need it to function because we need to have convictions for rape. We cannot continue as a society to have a mere 1%. What is that telling you, Mr. Singh? When you hear me say that we have a mere 1% of cases that make it to the criminal justice system that end in convictions, what does it say to you?
You know, it tells me that our whole policing system, our whole law, our whole are not working. We don't have no respect. Laws. We don't have respect for our women. We don't have,
and our children.
And our children.
Because for rape children, the damage is even more
worse.
It's worse for them
than for adults.
Because you've destroyed the child and the adult both. You've done in that act there. Okay, you have 5-year-olds being penetrated, 9, 11, those are the ages, and we have a high incidence of teenage pregnancy. Have
Quite
you
true.
noticed the numbers coming out? We have a 10-year-old who gave birth in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, she was raped.
Definitely. She
12,
was forced into it.
14, all these ages, okay? These are not ages. And for young girls who do not get a chance to complete their education and they start making children that young, you have a lot of social problems that will come upon them in the years to come.
What part do you think the family and parents have to play in this whole
The
exercise?
parental role is very critical. Remember, the family is the foundation of every society. And we do have a problem within Guyana and the wider Caribbean whereby we have a female-headed household. Not a
Right.
female-headed households aren't good because we see where Barack Obama is. And he often boasts about his mother being a
Right.
single parent. However, the single parent mother do face some amount of vulnerabilities. Here's the vulnerability. I'm a single mother who works in the security sector and I'm working 12 and 14 hours. How much time do I get to spend with my children?
Quite true. You don't have any
And so
whatsoever.
there may be a good Samaritan who's taking care,
Care.
who's pretending to take care of the children.
Right.
But then maybe having the child do a sex act
Mm-hmm.
just for a plate of food. And that's the harsh reality that we are actually dealing with. So the family needs to function. So we need to have parents who are aware of their role.
Quite true.
And their role is the parent. You can't tell me that, oh, I make the children, but I make the mind. Rubbish.
You know what crosses my mind? We also have parents who are perpetrators. You touched on that earlier.
Oh, yes. That's the most heinous part. And incest is a crime.
It's a crime.
In my social work department at Campbellville, I have a poster dedicated to that, where it says incest is illegal. Yes, you do have parents at times and uncles and who wants
Right,
to
and other relatives.
have who sleep with their younger folks and think that all is okay. Some people say it is cultural, but our law is now saying that incest is a crime and you should report such cases. We do have cases whereby parents knowingly know that their daughter's in a relationship for money and they turn a blind eye, a Nelson's eye, and pretend it's not happening.
Because
Just
they're
because
gaining from
they're
it.
gaining
There's
money.
so many cases around us.
You have
all
cases
over.
of suicide whereby you heard well that the stepfather was having sex with the stepdaughter.
Right.
And she told the mother and the mother just say, well, this is my man and she's not going to go against her man for this daughter. And so the
Right.
daughter decides, well, that I have no one, I don't feel loved, I don't feel belong, and so the best thing for me to do is to opt out of life. And that's the sad part.
It's a very, very serious
Our
thing.
young people are killing themselves.
Because of,
So plenty,
this
many
abuse.
things. And I'm thinking that it has a lot to do with the sexual violence. And so CAR, Citizens Against Rape, is geared towards breaking that silence. And the hashtag here is the driving movement of change and implementation of the laws in our justice system.
Right. Miss Cole, we only have maybe 2 minutes more on
Sure.
our discussion. One last question. You have a lot of experience in this area, in this field. You're in the office, you're out in the fields, you're in the homes, you're all over.
I'm advocating
You-
because as a rights commissioner, that's what I do. That's what I love to do. I love to advocate for there to be betterment. And I mean no harm to anyone. I just want to see the system work
And I see that
for
you
who it's
love.
supposed to work for.
I get the feeling you love what you're doing.
Oh yes, you can't pay me to do social work. Social work
Quite
is what
true.
I love. So it's a vocation.
It's a vocation.
Yes.
Quite true. I do hope, I'll be very, very, or we all will be very, very happy if people out there take on their roles, their respective roles, as vocations.
Certainly, and I go beyond the call of duty, and so I'm very happy to be of service to Guyana and to the people that I serve, and I do so without fear or favor, affection or ill will.
Okay.
And that's Nicole Cole.
That's Nicole
In a
Cole.
nutshell, yes.
Nicole Cole, one last question. We talked about it in our discussion.
Sure.
What is maybe a few major things we can do, to really curb this whole issue of sexual violence? We
Well-
touched on some.
Well, first of all, we need for men to understand that no means no. So a husband saying to me, my wife can't tell me no. A man said that to me the other day. Of course she can. Why is it that you think that when you're ready for sex and she's not ready, that she should be ready?
Right.
Okay? So we need for them to understand that a woman's no should be respected.
Quite true.
And regardless of what she's wearing, don't bring the adage that, oh, what she wears excite me, because children aren't dressed sexy. There's nothing sexy about a child, yet they're raped. And you have women who are dressed in head to toe, so covered.
And they're raped too.
And they're raped too. Okay? So rape is something is the fault of the rapist. That person, the inability to control your lustful tendencies by whatever would have excited you. And so we need to sensitize men that this behavior, this practice is not normal, and you must eschew it from your behavior. Rape must be something that you don't want to do. It must be something you want to be associated with, because it's so despicable. It's heinous. You cannot just think that you have a right to violate me and I must accept it. No. No means no.
Right, quite true.
I said no.
I think that's the major point,
Yes.
to respect a woman's,
Respect her no.
no, right?
Respect her choice. Respect the fact that she doesn't want to have the sex.
Quite true.
No, I don't want it.
Right.
Please respect that.
Quite true. And viewers, we want you to remember that and appreciate too that sexual violence is not only about rape, it's about suggestive language, it's about touching,
Yes.
and, other aspects, related aspects.
Right.
So
Marital rape, basically sexual harassment, unwanted tricking, confusing someone. You have the date rape drug, the ecstasy. So some girls who in a party and they leave and go and the guys pop it there.
Right, quite
And
true.
so when they drink it, they don't even know
They
the
don't even
biochemical change that starts in the brain.
Quite
But
true.
because they've been drugged.
Quite true. Miss Cole, I want to thank you very much for taking time off to be with me on my program of Grow It IPED this week. It was indeed a pleasure. It's an eye-opening program, for me, and I'm pretty sure for our viewers out there. In closing, any parting words from you?
Certainly, I would like to just say what Nelson Mandela would have said. When people are determined, there's no force stopping them. And so CAR is determined to make a difference. And we want to dent. We want to dent the rape culture. We want to arrest it. We want for the justice system to work. We want them to become erect again and to stop suffering from the ED and the impotency that they're suffering from, and to bring justice to our victims that we have of rape, and there are plenty.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
Miss Nicole Cole.
Nicole Cole.
Thank you very much.
You're
It was
most
indeed
welcome.
a pleasure.
It's a pleasure too, Mr. Singh.
And we do hope our viewers out there, you would have benefited quite a lot from our discussion. And you too will, join this band of, citizens and Guyanese in denting this whole issue of sexual violence. To entrepreneurs out there, we do hope that you would have taken quite a bit of information there, and you would help to spread the information around to members of your families, members of your community, and wherever or whoever you interact with, At IPED, we provide loans. Don't forget, small loans, micro loans, and medium-sized loans. Not forgetting to the services from our Entrepreneurial Development Center. That's our EDC, Training in Business Development Studies and so forth. And for the young ones, 18 and 35, remember, we have the very wonderful complimentary services of the Guyana Youth Business Trust. It's on that note, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank the NCN crew members for doing yet another week of excellence work. And I do hope that all of you out there, entrepreneurs, will have a very productive week ahead. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, join the bandwagon, join the group of persons out there who will say no to rape, to sexual violence, and let us all be proud and loving Guyanese. It's on that note, I want to close and leave you with get going, keep growing with IPED.